السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. رب زدني علما اللهم فقهنا في الدين آمين يا رب العالمين. So inshallah today we are going to do a little bit of Tajweed from Surah Al-Kahf. So inshallah for today's lesson starting from ayah number 83 to 89. We're just going to do a brief overview of some of the rules that appear here in this lesson, starting from ayah number 83 until ayah number 89. So, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم, starting from ayah number 83. وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنْ ذِي الْقَرْنَيْنِ. So here in عَنْ ذِي, we see that this is going to be إخفاء. I'm going to hide the nun sakin within the makhraj of the letter dhal. Al-Qarnayn, Kahf is going to be heavy. Ra in this case is also going to be heavy. قُلْ سَأَتْلُو عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْهُ ذِكْرًا. Alaykum, ayn is going to be from the throat. So we're going to make sure that we are pushing a little bit in the middle of the throat, that we have a little bit of that strangulation sound to give it that proper sound. So instead of saying alaykum, we want to make sure we're coming from the middle of the throat. Alaykum. Minhu dhikra, ra here is going to be heavy. And then we are also ending here on a 2-count mad. This is known as mad al-iwad. So anytime we have fathatain or 2 fatha tanweens, then we are going to read this as a 2-count mad. And if we are continuing, we're going to read it as tanween. Dhikran inna. But because I am stopping here, I'm going to read this as a 2-count mad. And you're going to notice that most of the ayahs in this surah do end on that 2-count mad. So for all of them, we are just going to pull them for 2 counts. So here in dhikra, because I'm stopping, just pull that for 2 counts with an alif mad. Inna, this is going to be a 2-count mad, so pull this for 2 counts. Makkanna, again, this is 2 counts. Lahu, this is going to be 2 counts. Fil ard, ra is going to be heavy, da is going to be heavy. Wa ataynahu, a is a 2-count mad. Na, again, is a 2-count mad. Min kulli, this is going to be ikhfa. We're going to hide the nun sakin within the makhraj of the letter kaf. Min kulli. Min kulli shay'in sababa. So again, I see that letter blue in the color-coded Quran, meaning that this is also going to be ikhfa. We are going to hide the nun sakin within the scene. Shay'in sababa. And then here we have ba with a fathatain. We have 2 fathas. So instead of reading them as a fatha, because I am stopping here, I'm just going to read it as a mad. Sababa. And then we're going to pull that for 2 counts. Fa'atba'a sababa. So here we have the letter ayn in fa'atba'a. Ayn again is going to be from the middle of the throat. Make sure that you are reading it from the middle of the throat with a little bit of pressure. We are not saying fa'atba'a. This is fa'atba'a. So ayn is from the middle of the throat. So we are going to make sure we have a little bit of pressure here in the middle of the throat to get that proper sound. And then sababa, here again we are ending on a 2-count mad. I see fathatain. I'm going to drop that because I am stopping here at the end of the ayah. And I'm just going to read it with a 2-count mad. Hatta. Ha is going to be also from the middle of the throat. We are going to have a little bit of pressure in the middle of the throat. You're going to feel a little bit of strangulation in the middle of the throat. And we are going to make sure that we are reading this from the proper spot. So we're not going to say hatta. This is going to be the lower throat. Instead, this ha is from the middle of the throat. The way we can remember this is that if you put a hand in front of your mouth, you should feel warm air. And this is the proper makhraj of the letter ha. So do make sure it is coming from the proper area. Hatta. And this is going to be a 4-count mad. I see that squiggly sign on top of the ta, meaning that I am going to pull this for 4 counts. So do give that the proper mad. Hatta. Pull that for 4 counts. Ida, this is a 2-count mad. Balagha, ghain is going to be heavy. Maghriba, ghain is going to be heavy. Ra in this case is going to be light. Maghriba shamsi. Wajadaha, this is going to be a 2-count mad. Taghrubu, ghain is going to be heavy. Ra in this case is heavy. Fi aynin hami'atin. So here this is going to be idhar. Aynin hami'atin. So make sure that you are reading the tanween properly. Ha again is going to be from the middle of the throat. Make sure that you do read it from the proper makhraj. Hami'atin wa wajada. This is going to be idgham. merge that tanween with the letter waw. وَوَجَدَ عِنْدَهَا, this is going to be ikhfa. Ha is going to be a 2-count med. قَوْمَا, qaf is going to be heavy. Ma is a 2-count med. قُلْنَا, qaf is going to be heavy, and this is a 2-count med. Ya dhal qarnayn, ya is going to be heavy. That is going to be from the tip of the tongue. We are not saying this similar to the letter zay. So we are not using the teeth. Instead, you're only going to be using the tongue. Ya dhal. Instead of saying ya zal, we're saying ya dhal. So make sure that the tongue is coming in between the teeth. Al-qarnayn, qaf is going to be heavy. Ra in this case is heavy. Imma, this is going to be a 4-count med. I see that squiggly sign of med, so pull this for 4 counts. Imma, pull for 4 counts. Tu'adhib, this is going to be ikhfa. Tu'adhiba wa imma, again a 4-count med. Pull this for 4 counts. Tattakhida, this is going to be ikhfa. Tattakhida, kha is going to be heavy. Dhal again is going to be from the tip of the tongue. Make sure that you're not saying it as the letter zay. Tattakhiza, this is going to be with the tongue. Tattakhiza. So do make sure the tongue is coming between the teeth. Fihim husna, ha again is going to be from the middle of the throat. Make sure that you are using the proper makhraj. And then we end here on a 2-count mad al-iwad. Qala, qaf is going to be heavy. Amma, this is a 2-count med. Man zalama, this is going to be ikhfa. And dha is going to be heavy. فَسَوْفَ نُعَذِّبُهُ, hu is going to be a 2-count med. ثُمَّ يُرَدُّ إِلَى رَبِّهِ, ila is going to be a 2-count med. رَبِّهِ, ra is going to be heavy. He is going to be a 2-count med. فَيُعَذِّبُهُ, ha is going to be a 2-count med. عَذَابًا, this is going to be a 2-count med. عَذَابًا, this is going to be ghunna. And then nukra, ra is going to be heavy. Ra is also a 2-count med when we end here. وَأَمَّا, this is going to be a 2-count med. مَنْ آمَنَ, this is idhar. Noon sound is going to be very clear. آمَنَ, this is a 2-count med. وَعَمِلَ, ayn is going to be from the throat. So make sure that you are using the middle of the throat to give it a little bit of that strangulation sound. Ra, ra. And you should be engaging the middle of your throat or squeezing the middle of the throat to get that sound. Salihan, sa is heavy. This is also a 2-count med. Salihan, ha is going to be from the middle of the throat. Salihan falahu, this is going to be ikhfa. Falahu, this is a 2-count med. Jaza'a, this is a 4-count med. And then here, if you are using the Indo-Pak Quran, you are going to see that there is that small noon with the kasra. So this is a tanween followed by hamzatul wasl. In the Arabic Quran, you don't see that small noon, but here in the Indo-Pak Quran, it is written for you. So you're just going to read it as it is written. Jaza'anil husna. So just follow that small noon. Do keep in mind that the actual script does not have the noon within it. This is written just for the ease for the reader. So we are going to follow it exactly the way that it's written, but this is supposed to be a tanween followed by hamzatul wasl. Jaza'anil husna. Just read that noon as it is written. Husna, ha is going to be from the middle of the throat. Noon is going to be a 2-count med. وَسَنَقُولُ, qaf is going to be heavy. Lahu, this is a 2-count med. Min amrina, this is going to be a idhar with a sukun. And then we're going to read this very clearly. Min amrina. And then na is going to be a 2-count med. Yusra, ra is going to be heavy. And we are going to read this with a 2-count med. Thumma atba'a, ayn is going to be from the middle of the throat. We are going to make sure that we're squeezing the middle of the throat to get that sound. Sababa, here we are ending on a 2-count med. So inshallah, we're just going to read this one time with Tajweed before we end here. So starting from ayah number 83, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنْ ذِي الْقَرْنَيْنِ قُلْ سَأَتْلُو عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْهُ ذِكْرًا إِنَّا مَكَّنَّا لَهُ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَآتَيْنَاهُ مِنْ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ سَبَبًا فَأَتْبَعَ سَبَبًا حتى إذا بلغ مغرب الشمس وجدها تغرب في عين حمئة ووجد عندها قوما قلنا يا ذا القرنين إما أن تعذب وإما أن تتخذ فيهم حسنا قال أما من ظلم فسوف نعذبه ثم يرد إلى ربه فيعذبه عذابا نكرا وأما من آمن وعمل صالحا فله جزاء الحسنى وسنقول له من أمرنا يسرا ثم أتبع سببا. So inshallah that is going to be the lesson for today, starting from ayah number 83 to ayah number 89. جزاك الله خيرا كثيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.